which sadly for a lot of my coworkers means they have to work tomorrow, but I'm not going to anymore. It's just insane what's going on here. And I'm not going to go into it because that's private corporate business and I could probably be fired if I went into it. But at the same time, I'm thankful I have a job that puts a roof over my head, puts gas in the car, keeps food in the fridge, and stuff like that. So I can't be too evil. But there's a lot of people who don't have that. But it just amazed me over the last 24 to 48 hours that I've had to start clearing out my friend list on Facebook and a few other places. Because I just put up a thing about, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the guy. I didn't agree with everything he said, but I agreed with what he did. And that's Charlie Kirk. Here's a guy who never murdered anyone, never gassed anyone, never tried to commit a quote-unquote genocide. All he did was he went to campuses and he debated people on campus and answered their questions and engaged with the public. Yet people are treating it like they're trying to make this guy on the same level, this 31-year-old guy, into Hitler. Uh-oh, I said a name that's going to get me demonetized. And I'm sorry, but it's not like he was a politician or anything like that. He wasn't holding any political office. At least none I knew of. And of course, yeah, I did put up something about 9/11, but to me, like I said, don't get me started on 9/11, because when the laws of Newtonian physics start taking a holiday, I start asking questions. Especially when a whole lot of shit don't make sense. I could go into hours on what's wrong with that whole scenario. I could do hours-long videos on that if I really wanted to. But it was amazing to me how many people had to try to insert snarky. All I did is I put up one post on my personal Facebook, and I got all these snarky comments. I had a person put a laugh emoji, and that person is not on my list anymore. It's not funny. Plus, I had people making snarky comments. You're gone. It's not funny. Like I said, whether you agreed with the guy's views or you disagreed with the guy's views, this wasn't some third world dictator. It wasn't a Colombian drug lord. It wasn't, a Middle Eastern, sadist or something like that. It wasn't, wasn't like Lenin or Stalin or anything like that. He wasn't a serial killer that we know of. Okay, no. This guy was a husband and wife of 2 children who saw their father blown away in front of them. A woman just watched her husband's throat get blown out by a high-powered rifle from 200 yards. And I keep thinking to myself, and a lot of these folks who are putting these snarky comments and all that, I meant through Whovian channels. And I'm like, how could you sit there dressed up like Tom Baker and make snarky comments and laugh at the death of somebody who never harmed anyone? Because if free speech is harming people, oh boy, are we all in trouble. So I'm trying to get over this. I really am. Plus, I said, 9/11. Like I said, I got a lot of questions about 9/11. If you wonder why I have a lot of questions, look up Operation Northwoods. It's not just a conspiracy theory. It was actually it was an actual proposition put to the government in 1960 by the Joint Chiefs of Staff of our country, suggesting a limited number of strikes are false flag attacks within our own country to be blamed on Cuba to warrant an invasion. Like I said, I don't agree with everything that like President Trump said, but I wouldn't wish death on the guy. Like I said, I don't know what I know. Again, he's a politician, but I still wouldn't wish death on anyone. Like I said, unless they were like really, really evil, and even then, I would be like, because that's not how we Whovians think. We've been a better example. We've been shown that we can be so much more than we are. Like I said, I'm tired of go on and on and on about this, but I'm just worried about the repercussions more than anything. I keep thinking of that scene from V for Vendetta when the dominoes fall. Somebody will do something stupid, and then the dominoes start falling. Yeah, I love the trolls. Hey guys, come on in. I need more traffic. Well, like I said, I'm trying to move on from it because even though it was a devastating event, having someone executed for their difference in beliefs and right in front of a group of people, whoever did that shot was definitely a professional. That was not an amateur shot. But of course, I don't like to pick on conspiracy theorists, but they're already starting to crawl out of the woodwork. Alrighty. So Billy Piper is coming to Columbus, but the problem is I'm already going to Chicago TARDIS, plus it is GalaxyCon, not Cincinnati Comic Expo, but the way things are going, I don't even want to know what security is going to be like now. You know? Because after one guy tried to make an attempt on the Green Ranger, and I'm sorry, the actor's name's not popping into my head right now. I want to say David Austin Green or something like that. It'll hit me in about 5 minutes when it don't matter. Damn. Sorry, that one had to go. Yeah, because I went to go to the Cincinnati Comic Expo, and like I said, it was like going in and out of a secured fortress. X-ray metal detection machines, people standing there shouting instructions like you're convicts, and I'm like, the one time I decided to wear all my decorative rings out, I had to go before I could go in. And if I had left the building for any reason, I had to go, for the first while, I had to go back in through the metal detector again. Which means now I got to take all this shit off again and then go through the metal detector again. Hell, we used to didn't have to have, cosplay weapon checks. Ugh. Yes, come over here so we can check your foam rubber sword to make sure it ain't going to poke somebody's eye out. Oh. That's why I don't really bother to cosplay much anymore, because I know, yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about. What's this going to do to security also? On top of the repercussions of the country, what's it going to do to security at places? It's going to be incredible. Like I said, yeah, she's going to be at GalaxyCon, but do I really want to? Like I said, I haven't even bought my tickets for Chicago TARDIS yet. Normally I'd have them bought by now, and I don't even have a room reserved yet because I really haven't thought about it. I'll probably get that done over the weekend. But our channel right now is just about anything because we don't have any Doctor Who news. Normally I would be telling you stuff I've heard or stuff that people have told me, but we just don't have a whole lot going on right now. We won't know anything until now they're saying after War Between the Land and the Sea airs. But I think that's an AI bot, but I appreciate the thought. Why would I go to like I said, what the heck? I don't even never even heard of Sawcon, but all right. Jason David Frank, thank you. I knew I was getting the name way wrong. Thank you so much. I just couldn't remember it off the top of my head. If I don't think about an actor for a long time, it takes a minute or two for the hard drive to. Jason David Frank. I knew it was a three-namer. Okay. Didn't he commit suicide later on, the poor fella? I think it was the Green Ranger guy, which was sad. But like I said, we would normally talk about Doctor Who news. We would normally talk about, sci-fi in general. But like I said, we don't have a whole lot of information right now to go on. I'm still not buying the Disney is waiting till after the spinoff airs to decide the fate of the main show, because it just doesn't make any damn sense. The main product they want is Doctor Who. So if it was so star-spangled fantastic, they would have already had a decision. Doctor Who has turned extremely hay. It's turned into dried out grass. The kind you smoke or the kind you feed the animals. All right. Yeah, I remember now I've heard the name, yeah, I remember that. I was pretty sad about that. That guy had a lot going for him. Sometimes when you get older, it takes a couple minutes for the hard drive to wind up. It's kind of like when you hook an external hard drive onto your system. Yeah, I was tempted, but the thing is, I really don't want to go to a public place right now because I want to know what the security is going to be like. I don't like marching through metal detectors and going through this and that and these and those just to go to a con. Cons, we used to have, the one con had like off-duty police and all that cycling around the building and all that like crazy anyway. But yeah. Popcorn lung is a thing. Dude, I've been vaping for almost 10 years. My lungs are clean. I have lung scans every year because I'm a former smoker. The popcorn lung was the biggest hunk of bullshit Philip Morris ever came up with. They wanted to shut down vaping because more people are going to vaping and they're getting off cigarettes. And I'll tell you right now, you're better off vaping. There's like maybe 5-6 chemicals in what I'm inhaling right now. I'm not saying go out and start smoking or anything like that. No. This helped me get off the butts. And when you learn how many hundreds of chemicals they put in a cigarette these days, on top of the shit that's already bad for you, between the carbon monoxide, the nicotine, the tar, oh well. But what I'm trying to hammer home is we can all do so much better. Whether you agree or disagree with someone, wishing murder on them is never a good thing. Remember, the doctor is the man who never would. Or the woman who never would, depending on who's in the body at the time. Or as Capaldi said, hate is always foolish and love is always wise. Words to live by, everybody. Be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you all again on Monday. Take care.